Hi guys, so I know I've been gone for a minute and things have really changed because if you're watching this video, you know that I induced myself again with Midwife's brew. So if I induced myself again, that means I had another baby. So yes, congratulations to me. I had another baby. I had him 3 weeks ago and it was an amazing experience. I went completely natural, no epidural, and it was just amazing. And I'll talk about that in another video. But I know people are really interested in this subject, at least on my channel and amongst my friends. So I wanted to talk about the Midwife's brew and answer some questions that I get a lot about this. And of course discuss how I used it to induce not only once, but twice successfully. And I mean literally, I took it that night and had a baby in the morning, both times, okay? And if you want to hear about my third labor and delivery, just click on the other video that I have of that explanation and you'll be able to see what happened in my third delivery and just how it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. But anyway, back to the Midwife's brew. So I use the exact same recipe that I did in my other video, and I will leave a link for that video. It's really short. It's only a few ingredients that you can get right at your grocery store, except the lemon verbena tea. Now this is what I get a lot of questions about, the lemon verbena tea. Where can I get it? Where did you find it? Blah, blah, blah. Yes, by far that is the hardest thing to find. It is not extremely hard to find because I found it same day I looked for it, but yeah, it's a little more complicated than just going to your local grocery store. You might need to go to a vitamin shop near you, or some type of, some type of vitamin shop or tea shop near you, something local that has a lot of, teas and vitamins and herbs and stuff. You know what type of little store I'm talking about. Those stores tend to really have this, or you can use Amazon. I'm a big Amazon user. I prime everything. So this last time, because my doctor's office told me that I would have to induce early, and that's a whole nother story that you need to check out in the labor and delivery. But yeah, I had to induce early. I knew I would have to induce early, so I just went ahead and purchased it online from Amazon, and I will also leave that link below so you can see which one I got this time. They are two different brands. The one I got the first time versus this one, but it was the lemon verbena tea, not lemon tea, not verbena tea, lemon verbena tea. And I do think it is important to get that exact tea. I do feel like these ingredients work synergistically, and except for the almond butter, I feel like that's just a thickener. So I know someone who said that they used ice cream or something to substitute instead of the almond butter. I don't know. I would just stick to the exact ingredients, but it will still work for her with the ice cream. But the other things I really think are extremely important. So definitely make sure you have your apricot juice and your lemon verbena tea, and of course it does have castor oil in it. Another really common question that I get is whether or not the tea, not the lemon verbena tea, the brew, whether the brew makes you have diarrhea. I mean, that's pretty much the question that I get. And that is a very good question because it has castor oil in it. And if you know anything about castor oil, you know that it makes you have the runs. But no, it did not make my stomach upset. It did not make me have diarrhea. It did not make me go to the bathroom. It did not make my baby go to the bathroom. No one went to the bathroom drinking the Midwife's brew in my experience. None of my friends who have taken it had that experience either. So I just can only answer that question based off of all of the people that I know who have taken it, and I know quite a few, and myself. So based off of that, no, for me, no, it did not. In fact, I did take just castor oil with what was it? Orange juice for my son's delivery, and it did not work. It did not work. I just had the runs, like I said, TMI, and I didn't have a baby. I had to be induced medically maybe 2 or 3 days later, which I was trying to avoid, but it didn't work. So first time, castor oil by itself basically did not work. Then I had the midwife's brew, worked. Then I had the midwife's brew again, worked. So I do think that it works for me differently than if I were just to take castor oil. I do not think taking castor oil will work for me, and it would just make me go to the bathroom. Why do I think this? Because I experienced it. So I would never just take castor oil by itself ever again. Like, that was just, that was a mistake. So anyway, that is a really common question I get. I had someone in the comment section ask about, does it make your baby go to the bathroom? That is a common myth. It's because, and it makes sense, because castor oil makes you go to the bathroom. Of course, you think naturally it would cause the baby to go to the bathroom, but you have to remember you do have a placenta. It is an exchange organ between the mother and the baby. It does offer some filtration, and everything doesn't just process over into the baby the exact same way that it processes in the mother. Not everything, a lot of things do. A lot of things do, but not everything. And in this case, no, the lemon verbena tea with the apricot juice, the castor oil, and the almond butter together, no, it didn't even make me go to the bathroom, and no, it didn't make my child go to the bathroom. Also, before taking this, I had done a lot of research on it, and I couldn't find anything definitively that said that it was dangerous for myself or the baby, and that is why I decided to take it. But I'm not telling anyone else to take it. I'm not suggesting that anyone else takes it. I am just talking about my own experience, because I know I'm a YouTube surfer, and I'm always looking for people like myself and them talking about their experiences, what they went through, and the decisions that they made. And that could either confirm something for me or make me think, no, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? So you definitely want to go into it knowing that these are my experiences, and that doesn't mean it's going to work for you or not. I'm also not an advocate for taking it early just because each time that I tried to induce, I was facing medical induction. I had to be induced regardless. So I wasn't just trying to end my pregnancy early because I was annoyed or tired or didn't want to gain any more weight or whatever other reasons that we have at the end of our pregnancy. And of course, because being pregnant is tiring and there's a lot to complain about. So I totally get wanting it to be over, but for me at least, postpartum, the first week is tough. It is tougher to me than the last week of pregnancy. So no rush for me, but I was going to be medically induced. I was medically induced with my son, my oldest child, and it was a really, really difficult and tiring experience. However, when I induced myself and let my body kick in its own oxytocin type situation going on, it was actually pretty straightforward, pretty easy, and pretty quick. So, I mean, this last labor was 4 hours. Yep, it was fast. Boom. So, yeah, I also get asked how long did it take for the actual brew to work. That varies from person to person. For me, it took about an hour and a half before I could notice small contractions. And when I say small, I mean painless, just my stomach getting tighter. You'll feel your stomach, just like the skin on your stomach, just get really, really, really tight. And that is a contraction happening. And over time, it would just get more and more intense. So once it got to a point where I could actually feel the contraction and feel a pattern going, you know, that's when I knew that the brew really did work. But it just takes a short period of time for me to actually feel it. Maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours before I'm like, okay, you know what, I think I'm starting to feel some contractions here. But again, that feeling is really small for me when I first feel it. So I don't know if it's my head just realizing and knowing that I took the brew, but yeah, I feel it maybe 2 hours after I take it. other questions that I get? Oh, I've gotten questions about whether the contractions are more intense when I took the midwife brew. It is not more intense than when I was medically induced, and that is a fact for me. When I was medically induced, it was very intense, and I could not take those contractions at all. However, with the midwife brew, specifically this last time, I was fully dilated and still joking around. So yeah, so for me, no, it doesn't make the contractions more intense, but I did feel as if it made the contractions for my daughter, it felt like they were coming 3 at a time. But I also heard that when you're in your second labor and delivery, that it can feel that way, that it just feels like they are just coming and coming and coming. So that might not have been the brew, because that definitely wasn't the case this last time when I took the brew. They were very consistent. They were 1 at a time. I had a break in between. So yeah, so it depends on what delivery number it is for you, your body. I can't gauge that for anyone else, but for me, no, it did not change the intensity of the contractions in comparison to being medically induced. I do not have a comparison for being in labor where your body just went in without any assistance, without any midwife's brew or medical induction. I don't have that because I didn't have that experience. So sorry, can't really answer that. Does it make you poop while you push? Majority of women poop while they push, but for some reason I don't, and I took the brew, so no, it doesn't make me go to the bathroom. I did not go number 2 while pushing. I know that's so gross, but yeah, it happens, you're pushing, but it just did not happen to me. And yeah, so I can't say that it causes that because it didn't happen for me. Did it cause any distress for me or the baby? No, it didn't cause any distress for either one of us when I took it both times. And it was just very straightforward. I took the brew, I felt contractions within an hour and a half to 2 hours later, and I had a baby shortly thereafter. It was that serious. So how fast did you drink your midwife brew? It's supposed to be consumed within 20 minutes. So it takes me the entire 20 minutes to drink that because I do not like the taste of it. I do not like the texture. So it really took that long for me to drink it. And it was effective for me. As far as making the midwife brew, I highly suggest placing it inside of a blender and not trying to mix it by hand. I just think everything's able to mix together a lot better and just work the way it's supposed to, by getting all of the castor oil evenly distributed and everything. Yeah, I highly suggest putting it in a blender. I use a Vitamix, but use any blender that you have, whether you have the NutriBullet or whatever else is out there on the market. Just get a blender, blend it, drink it within 20 minutes, and have a baby. Another question I get, how pregnant was I when I drank the midwife brew? So for the first time that I drank it, I was over 40 weeks. Was I 40 weeks and 5 days, I believe I was. Yes, I know I was getting really close to the medical induction time that my practice that I went to adheres to. So I induced right beforehand. But some places, don't care if you go to 42 weeks or so on and so forth. So, but for my first time, I was past my due date. The second time that I took the midwife brew, I was 38 weeks, 6 days. And that is because I had to be induced by 39 weeks. So I had an induction date, and I just took it right beforehand. And I discussed it with my midwife and doula and doctor, because the practice that I go to has OBs and midwives. and they were fine with it. In fact, my midwife was like, listen, you have your induction date, go ahead and take your brew beforehand, try to induce yourself, good luck. And I was like, listen honey, what's your schedule this weekend? What day do you work? When you get off? She got off at 8 a.m. in the morning. I had that baby by 7:30. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna be there. You're gonna deliver me. And afterwards she's like, I never have seen anyone do that. That was amazing. You were serious. Yes I am. Very controlling. Very controlling. Too controlling. My husband hates it. So anyway, I hope that answered all your questions about the Midwife's brew and how I used it to induce myself twice. Again, the recipe is in the original video. It's also going to be below. You can click the link for the original video where you can see that I'm super pregnant and about to take the drink. But also I am going to have the recipe below. It's only a few ingredients. The lemon Verbena tea is the hardest to find, so if you're interested in that, make sure that you get that first.